Good morning everyone, it's Rachel from Sage. Today I'm going to do a get ready with me or shop my stash. But basically the focus here is I'm feeling that with, the emphasis on overconsumption on certain social media platforms, including YouTube, and then the radical swing back the other way to underconsumption in the cold hard light of day. I think we all need to recognize that extremes of anything are not particularly useful in the long run for any of us. So I'm going to today, as I often do, but really focusing today on old favorites, things that nobody talks about, things that nobody uses, and perhaps I shouldn't be using them anymore. Certainly not on social media, but once again, in the cold hard light of day, as real people, we continue to use our favorite products, don't we? And we don't necessarily show them on camera or to anybody because most people do not do social media. Well, I just shouldn't say that. Most people don't, how do psychologists put it? They sort of put it like most people don't show their real selves on social media. Now, this is me. I think by now, those of you that have been following me for a while know that this ain't no fairy tale. This is just me at 51 years old, living my normal, very ordinary existence. What I was trying to say is that I really do try. In fact, I don't even try. I just keep it real. And what you see is really just me. Now, I know I can say that and you'll just go, yeah, okay, whatever. But I think those of you that have been following me for a while will get the sense that I am the same on camera as I am off camera, even though you don't know me off camera at all. But that's okay, because our parasocial relationship that we have, I think for people here, is healthy. I don't know about a healthy parasocial relationship for younger people or people that are really immersed in the world of social media. I sense that there is a lot of unhealthy relationship situations going on, as there can be unhealthy relationships in real life. So in that vein, not wanting to get too much deeper than that, I'm just wanting to show some reality. And look, I'm using the same things I use all the time. As you know, it is the MAC paint pot, which is just about empty, okay? There's only probably 2 weeks left there. And the Schwarzkopf Got To Be, I don't even know what its proper name is anymore because it's worn off, but I just buy these things, and these are long-term favorite products. And on my face, I've already got my sunscreen, that's why I'm shiny, but I'm still trying to use up old things like marshmallow primer from NYX. I'm not calling this Project Pan anymore. I don't want to do Project Pan. I'm just using stuff up. Because that's what normal people do, isn't it? We just have stuff, and unless we really hate it or our skin reacts negatively to it, we're most likely to use it up because we've spent our own money on it, aren't we? We're most likely to do that. So even though this primer is not a favourite and I bought it because it smelled nice, I kind of feel that the smell doesn't go away. I wish it would after a while. I like that nice hit of sugary scent at the start, but then it just doesn't fade. So I'm still continuing to finish it. I will finish it because it's not terrible. It's actually quite a good makeup primer in that it makes my makeup last longer, which is the function of the primer after all. And it's hydrating. I don't know that it's that, like it doesn't pore fill or anything like that. Moving on. I'm not going to use my most used palette, my eyeshadow palette, but I think this is the oldest one I've got based on the packaging. The BH Chillin in Chicago. Now BH has been out of business for over 3 years. This palette I think is in the old, no, it's not in the old packaging. I did have the old packaging one of this and I gave it to my daughter and she really still uses it. She likes it. So this is the updated version and it was called something else. Anyway, there's the color story. I mean, familiar much? Yes, of course. And I'm going to start with the shade Grizzly for those people that have the palette. And I'm just doing a basic neutral eye today. Look, the performance is still good. Look at that, pigment straight out of the gate. I mean, I'm using a good brush. I've got good primer. I've done my skin prep. All of those things. But putting all that aside, even if I didn't have those things done, this palette, as old as it is, would still perform well for most people, including me, who is an eyeshadow fanatic, as you would probably be aware. Now, BH was my first real, the brand that I first really came to when I was wanting to start my makeup journey. Seriously, I mean, I've always worn a bit of makeup, but like eyeshadow palettes, what were they? You know, they didn't even exist when I first started wearing makeup. Really, I mean, I don't remember. Maybe Mac did them, but not, you might have got that 4-pan thing from Revlon or whatever, but apart from that, just wore the same eyeshadow, like a grey all the time. And palettes like this just didn't exist. And then when I looked into YouTube and started watching YouTube videos and saw the creators using BH and the colours in the palettes and the intensity of the colour, and they was talking about the quality, and I was like, I've never heard of this brand, but I want to try. So I'm now using the shade Then, this one here. And if you've been here for a while, you know that I still am sad that BH is no longer around, because the value for money was just unbelievable for the quality. And look, that's pretty much an eye look done with 2 shades, virtually no blending at all. Now I am going to do an eyeliner. I'm going to get my small brush, which is a bit dirty, but you'll forgive me, I'm sure. And I'm going to go back in with that original shade Grizzly and mix it with the shade Sky Deck. Tip tap, like that. And just smudge that along there. Sort of smoke it out. take it up there a bit, intensify that outer V. So this is very much the everyday makeup look in, you know, my mind. Now that I actually know how to apply shadow properly. That's the other thing. I think I had those old, when I first started wearing eyeshadow, I think I had those old foam applicators that we all used. Makeup brushes really were the reserve of a makeup artist, which of course I am now, but I wasn't then. So when I was looking around for brushes, lo and behold, BH were also making excellent brushes. And so that enamored me to the brand even more. And I still use a lot of my BH brushes to this day because the quality is excellent. That's nice, I like that. Now, am I going to use shimmer? Okay, I think I will. And I'm going to go in with just a really light one today, a champagne called Lakeview, this one here. And I'm going to get a flat brush, put it onto the flat brush, still emollient, still picks up. Give it a spritz with some NYX setting spray. And just smooth it on. I mean, this palette would be 5 years old at least. And look at the shine on that. Now, the real proof of it would be if I came back to you like in 8 hours time to show you that the shadows were still in place. To be honest, they do fade a little now. But why wouldn't they? It's an older palette. What do we reasonably expect from coloured powders? You know what I'm saying? So I've done a sort of a half cut crease thing there, as much as I would ever do. I don't do the concealer stuff. You know, the eyelids are just too crinkly for that. If you've got beautifully smooth eyelids, then I guess it would look better. But I don't. And I'm not worried about that either. We just own it. We just own it. What we've got, we make the best of, don't we? Right, that's enough, I think. MAC Stack, of course, because this is my favourite mascara, one which I have bought many times, have had deluxe samples of. Now this is actually the brown, which is a newer shade, but the MAC Stack mascara has been around for quite a few years now. Now in my 20s, which was a long time ago, I used to use the Max Factor Calorie 2000. Who remembers that? I believe it's still around. But everybody used it. All the girls I worked with in Sydney wore that one. Mind you, there were not that many options. Even high-end brands had like one mascara in their range and that was it. Now Maybelline has like 10 or 15 different mascaras in their range and they're all really good. But I'm on a mascara no-buy this year. I won't be buying any. I've just got too many to use up. And I can make pretty much all of them work unless they just go all over my face, which then tells me that they're probably expired anyway. Okay, brows now. I've been holding out to use the last of this because this is the last one I'll ever have. The Barry M Feather Brow Defining Pen. It is no longer available, and I was quite devastated to find that out. I have a number of others that look to be similar from different brands to try out in the next few months. So we'll see. I will see if they are as good as this one. For me, this one, the ease of use is just so incredible. The color match for me in the medium brown, I think is spot on. It doesn't seem to matter if my brows are still slightly wet. It doesn't seem to matter which order I do it in either. Like if I do this first and then put the gel on, it didn't go everywhere. And that's where the ease of use thing comes in. I can't stuff it up. Now Benefit have just re-released their micro defining pen. And I do really love the pencil that I've been using for months now on camera. You've seen me use it many times, or refer to it at least. But this was the first real brow product that I used and really loved. And that sort of set me on a path of finding out more about brow products generally, because brows are such a defining feature of your face. It don't matter what shape face you have or what eye shape you have. And brow, essentially art, has become such a big thing in beauty. Lamination, tattooing, or microblading as they call it, colouring your brows. I mean, we've always been able to tint and wax, but the focus on the brows as a defining feature of a face, whether you have other makeup on or not, has become really important to the beauty industry. And you may wear no other makeup, but if your brows are looking good, your face can be enhanced, your natural beauty. And I've told you recently that I'm filling in my shape. I've cut back my brows, trimmed them and thinned them out, and now I am growing them back in. And I'm pretty happy with how that's going. Elf Halo Glow Liquid Filter. How long have I had this? This is shade 2. So I'm just putting a bit on the back of my hand here. It's almost empty. Gosh, there's a lot of daylight through there. Quite a lot. And it's hard to tell with these sort of glass things, bottles. My most expensive foundation, and also the oldest in my collection, the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation Stick in Cool Honey. Okay, so I'm going to mix that on the, just put the swipe of that on the back of my hand with the Elf Halo Glow and mix them together, because that's slightly too dark. And I also don't want the full coverage. I rarely do these days want full coverage. The e.l.f. Halo Glow actually gives me quite a nice bit of coverage anyway. And it sits so beautifully on the skin. So much so that I haven't even been tempted to buy the one that inspired the product, which is the Charlotte Tilbury, of course. I just haven't felt the need to because I like this one so much. Just doing a bit more for the other half of the face. Less is more. It's easier to get more than have to take it off and start again, isn't it? Now, the Bobbi Brown stick. I've been wearing either it or Napoleon Purtis since my 20s. The foundation sticks are still the core in my pro kit. I don't know if many people have even heard of Bobbi Brown these days. Nice, easy, glowy finish. Love it, love it, love it. That will stay on all day now. That will like adhere to my face so well. Just going to wash my hand and come back. The oldest bronzing stick is Australis Ride or Die. I tried panning this last year, but it didn't go as well as I would have hoped, but it's super pigmented and I can't use too much of it. It's also really only a summer shade because it's so warm. And the corresponding blush from Australis, the Dewy or Daring, in Side Chick. This isn't my oldest cream blush. My LYS one would be older, but this is the one I want to wear today. The upshot of it. It's really nice. It's a really nice summer shade. So I just use the same brush, the foundation brush that I've been using. And I'll do the bronzer first. See, look how warm that is. So I really don't want much. You'll notice that when I'm applying bronzer, I avoid putting it down here because the shadow looks, to me, I think, nicer when it's on the perimeter of the neck, heading down towards the décolletage. And when you're doing it, make sure that you're brushing towards the hairline. Unless you really, really have an issue with getting makeup in your hair, I guess don't use these sorts of products if that's something that you don't enjoy. Right, now I'm just simply going to go like this. And they will they will merge, but that's okay. I haven't put any concealer on, have I? I will do so. And then I'll powder down. The oldest lipstick in my collection is completely expired and I will not be using it. It is only there for nostalgia purposes. It's not to be put on my face, my lips, certainly not. The True Match concealer in shade, what have we got? I can't see a shade, sorry. I'd say it's light maybe 2 or 3. I typically get ones that are 2 shades lighter than the foundation that I use in that brand, which is 4. Great concealer, it's really good. Some people say the True Match line smells a bit painty or alcohol-y. I don't really notice that myself. I've increasingly found smaller brushes easier, more manageable to work with on a more textured face. You can apply it in a more defined way on a textured face, and it doesn't just go everywhere or merge with everything else. Unless you really want that, and you just use a giant brush and everything will just blend together. And if you've got perfect skin, that's not a big deal at all. So now I will go in with my fingers and make sure that there's as little creasing as possible. No such thing as a creaseless concealer. No such thing. Do not be fooled. Be proud of your creases. My faithful St. Jack towel. Okay, powder down time for sure. The oldest powder I have is Moira Set and Correct Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. I will list these, don't worry. Someone asked me recently to list the products. I've just got some in the lid here. And I used to do it religiously when I first started my channel, and it is so time consuming. But sometimes you'll notice I'll make the effort. And sometimes you'll notice I won't, depending on how much time I have. If I had a YouTube shop or something like that, of course, I would make the effort. But I am way too small for any of that. And that's fine. No big deal at all to me. Oh, that looks better. It's a lovely powder. It's a lovely powder. You know I love Moira. She's a goodie, Moira. So just on the gullet area, just so that doesn't transfer, and on my ears, I'm just flicking a bit. I don't want to take out the dew completely because I like that sheen on the outer part of my face. A little bit more blending required on that side. There we go, that's better. And just really dotting, not putting on obviously as much as I did on the under eye area and the T-zone. It is midsummer here, and I do want my makeup to last, and I don't want to look like a grease ball, but I also don't want it to look heavy and cakey either. Tip the best of it back in there because I didn't use all that. Just going with Essence Soft Contouring in Nude Painting. it would have been the Huda Beauty Pinky Brown, one of which I've already finished, and I'm on to my second one. Or the Napoleon one, which I can't use anymore because there's just nothing of it. I have put that all over the lips because I'm really liking that concealer lip look again. One of my oldest lipsticks is Bodyography, which is kind of a pro brand. I can't even read that. Maybe you can. It's not a gloss, as it turned out. It's a lipstick. Doesn't even matter if you stuff up the lip line too much because it's so satiny and sheer. That will dry down too. It's more of a topper really, but when I'm going for this sort of 90s look, bit of a contrast between the warm and the cool too as well. I'm going to fix up my hair. I've got a hair mask on, that's why I've got this turban on. I'll be back shortly. What do you reckon? I really like this. It's really nude, downplayed lip, and really not much of an eye look, but the framing with the brows, the colour of the makeup, could have brought that down a bit further, couldn't I? Let's do that. That's a bit better. Because I only have like a skerrick of self-tan on. Yeah, that's better. Bit of a contrast with my light hair. I'm getting my hair done in 4 days, not a moment too soon. It's so parched from swimming and sun and just heat. Okay. The oldest favorite that I don't even know how many of these I've bought because I use them in my kit too, maybe 20 over the last few years. And you know I love setting spray. Maybelline Lasting Fix. It is brilliant. Whenever it's on sale, you should get some. It's like concrete feel makeup, especially in the warmer weather. An oldie, but very much a goodie. It doesn't make you shiny. It doesn't overly mattify. You don't feel like your face is going to crack in an hour or so, but your makeup just won't move. So it's wet now. I will fan myself like so and say farewell to you. Thank you for watching this video. Old stuff is still good stuff. Yeah? Farewell to you for now. I will talk to you again soon. Don't know when because I'm heading back to work, as you know. Might be a bit patchy with the uploads, but I'll do my best. Bye for now.